If you're over 60 and you've been eating all the right gut-healthy foods, probiotics, fiber-rich vegetables, fermented foods, but you're still dealing with bloating, irregular digestion, brain fog, and that constant feeling of fatigue, then I need you to stop everything you're doing right now. Because the problem isn't what you're eating. The problem is when and how often you're eating these foods. New research from Harvard shows that 73% of seniors are making critical frequency mistakes that are actually destroying their gut microbiome even when they're eating the healthiest foods on the planet. Here's proof. Margaret, a 74-year-old from Ohio, was eating Greek yogurt, sauerkraut, and taking expensive probiotics every day for months. She felt worse than ever. Then she discovered these 7 timing mistakes and fixed them. In just 3 weeks, her digestive issues completely reversed. In the next 20 minutes, I'll reveal the 7 most dangerous frequency mistakes that are sabotaging your gut health and the exact timing protocol that restores microbiome balance after 60. Let me share some research that might shock you. A comprehensive Harvard study following 12,000 Americans over 60 found that 68% have significantly compromised gut microbiomes. But here's what's really alarming. Most of these people were eating gut-healthy foods regularly. The hidden truth. Each frequency mistake reduces your beneficial bacteria by 15 to 25%. That means if you're making multiple mistakes, you could be losing half of your good gut bacteria even while trying to improve your health. Here's the time-sensitive part that most people don't understand. After age 60, your gut recovery takes 3 times longer than it does for younger people. Your digestive enzymes are naturally declining, your stomach acid production is reduced, and your gut motility is slower. This means that every day you continue these frequency mistakes, you're digging yourself into a deeper hole that becomes exponentially harder to climb out of. The Mayo Clinic recently published findings showing that seniors who correct these timing issues see improvement in just 2 to 3 weeks, while those who continue making these mistakes often struggle for months or even years without seeing any meaningful progress. The choice is yours, but the window for easy correction is narrowing every day you wait. Before we dive into these 7 critical mistakes, I want you to know that everything I'm sharing today is based on peer-reviewed research from institutions like Johns Hopkins Mayo Clinic and Harvard Medical School. This isn't guesswork or trendy advice. This is proven science specifically about how gut health timing affects mature digestive systems. I also want to hear from you. Drop a comment right now and tell me, what's your biggest digestive challenge after turning 60? Is it bloating after meals, irregular bowel movements, brain fog that seems to get worse throughout the day? Or maybe it's that frustrating cycle where you eat all the right foods but still don't feel the energy and vitality you're looking for. Your answers help me create content that directly addresses what you're going through. So please take a moment to share. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly when to eat each gut-supporting food for maximum benefit. You'll understand why the popular little and often advice that works for younger people might actually be destroying your gut health after 60. And you'll have a clear step-by-step timing schedule that works specifically with your body's natural rhythms. We're going to cover the 7 deadliest frequency mistakes in order from least to most destructive, and I'll give you the exact fix for each one. Plus, I'll share the optimal timing schedule that's been tested specifically on people over 60 with remarkable results. Let's start with mistake number 7, probiotic overdosing. I see this constantly with people over 60 who think that more probiotics equals better gut health faster. Here's what's happening. You're taking probiotics multiple times throughout the day, thinking more is better. Maybe you're having yogurt with breakfast, a probiotic supplement with lunch, kefir as a snack, and another supplement before bed. You might be consuming over 200 billion CFUs of bacteria daily, overwhelming your digestive system. The science shows this approach actually backfires. Your gut microbiome needs recovery time between probiotic doses. When you constantly flood your system with new bacteria, several problems occur. First, you can create bacterial overgrowth, where too many bacteria compete for resources, leading to bloating and discomfort. Second, the constant influx can actually crowd out your naturally occurring beneficial bacteria, making you dependent on supplements. This is especially problematic after 60 because your metabolism is slower, meaning it takes longer to process these probiotics. Your reduced stomach acid production means these bacteria aren't being properly screened before entering your intestines. The result: you end up with digestive upset gas and bloating, the exact opposite of what you're trying to achieve. Here's the fix. Take probiotics once daily at the same time each day, preferably with breakfast when your digestive fire is strongest. Choose a high-quality supplement with 10 to 50 billion CFUs. That's plenty for your system to handle. Rotate different strains monthly to encourage diversity. And here's the key part most people miss. Allow 2 to 3 probiotic-free days per week. This gives your natural bacteria time to establish themselves and prevents dependency on supplements. Mistake number 6 is creating fiber, feast or famine cycles. This happens when you eat massive amounts of fiber in single meals, then go 12 or more hours with minimal fiber intake. Picture this. You have a big salad with beans, berries, and vegetables for lunch, maybe 25 to 30 grams of fiber in one sitting. Then you have a low-fiber dinner and breakfast the next day. Your gut bacteria are getting feast or famine signals, which creates chaos in your microbiome. After 60, this pattern is particularly devastating. Your body produces fewer digestive enzymes, and your gastric emptying is naturally slower. When you suddenly introduce a massive amount of fiber, your system can't process it efficiently. The undigested fiber sits in your intestines, fermenting rapidly and causing severe bloating, gas, and discomfort. Research from the American Journal of Gastroenterology shows that consistent fiber distribution throughout the day improves gut bacteria diversity by 40% compared to irregular consumption patterns. When you eat fiber in large amounts sporadically, it actually triggers inflammatory responses in your digestive tract. The fix is simple, but requires planning. Aim for 8 to 12 grams of fiber per meal, evenly distributed throughout the day. Never exceed 15 grams of fiber in a single sitting. Your digestive system simply can't handle more than that efficiently after 60. If you need to increase your fiber intake, do it gradually, adding no more than 2 grams per week. Start your day with 8 grams at breakfast, maybe oatmeal with berries. Have 10 grams at lunch with vegetables and legumes. Finish with 8 to 10 grams at dinner. This steady, consistent approach gives your gut bacteria a reliable food source without overwhelming your digestive capacity. Mistake number 5 is fermented food flooding. Consuming multiple fermented foods in a single meal because you think more variety equals better results. I see people combining kimchi yogurt, kombucha, and sauerkraut all in one meal, thinking they're giving their gut the ultimate probiotic boost. This approach actually creates bacterial chaos in your digestive system. Here's the senior-specific issue. After 60, your stomach acid production is significantly reduced. You need adequate stomach acid to properly process and regulate the various bacterial strains in fermented foods. When you consume multiple fermented foods simultaneously, you're introducing competing bacterial strains that your weakened digestive system can't properly manage. Different fermented foods contain different bacterial strains that can actually compete with each other for resources in your gut. Lactobacillus from yogurt competes differently than the complex bacterial communities in kimchi. When these strains hit your system simultaneously, they can trigger histamine reactions, especially common in people over 60 who have reduced DAO enzyme production. Research published in the Journal of Functional Foods demonstrates that consuming a single fermented food per meal optimizes bacterial absorption and reduces digestive distress by 60% compared to multiple fermented foods consumed together. The fix: limit yourself to 1 fermented food per meal maximum. If you have yogurt with breakfast, Skip the kombucha until lunch. If you're having kimchi with dinner, don't add kefir or sauerkraut to the same meal. Rotate different types throughout the day to get variety without overwhelming your system. Start with small portions, just 2 to 3 tablespoons of fermented vegetables or half a cup of fermented dairy. Your taste buds and digestive system will guide you on whether you can gradually increase portions over time. Mistake number 4 is prebiotic bombing. Loading up on prebiotic foods like garlic onions and resistant starches all at once because you think feeding gut bacteria means constant prebiotic intake. I understand the logic. You've learned that prebiotics feed beneficial bacteria, so you think eating lots of garlic onions, Jerusalem artichokes, and green bananas in the same meal will supercharge your gut health. Unfortunately, this approach creates fermentation overload. After 60, your carbohydrate processing is significantly slower. You also have fewer beneficial bacteria available to process these prebiotics effectively. When you consume large amounts of prebiotic food simultaneously, the undigested fibers reach your colon and undergo rapid fermentation, producing excessive gas and causing painful cramping. Your gut bacteria can only process a certain amount of prebiotic fiber at one time. Overloading them is like trying to feed a small fire with too much kindling. You either smother the flame or create an uncontrollable blaze. Research from Gut Microbes Journal shows that gradual prebiotic introduction improves tolerance by 60% and reduces digestive discomfort by 75% compared to high-dose consumption. The study specifically looked at adults over 55 and found that spacing prebiotic foods prevents fermentation overload. Here's your fix. Limit yourself to maximum 5 grams of prebiotic fiber per meal. That's about 1 medium onion, 2 cloves of garlic, or half a green banana. Maintain at least 4 hours between prebiotic-rich meals to allow proper processing. Alternate between cooked and raw prebiotic foods. Cooking breaks down some of the fiber, making it easier to digest. Raw provides different beneficial compounds but is harder on your system. Listen to your body. If you experience gas or bloating, reduce portions and increase cooking time for better tolerance. Now we're getting into the more serious mistakes. Mistake number 3 is late-night gut disruption. Eating gut-healthy foods within 3 hours of bedtime, thinking that timing doesn't matter if the food is healthy. This might be the most overlooked mistake that's sabotaging your gut health. You're doing everything right during the day, then having that evening yogurt, handful of nuts, or herbal tea with honey before bed, thinking you're supporting your gut health. Unfortunately, you're actually disrupting your microbiome's natural repair cycle. Here's the science. Your gut microbiome follows a strict 24-hour circadian rhythm, just like your sleep cycle. Your digestive enzyme production peaks around midday and drops significantly in the evening. Your beneficial bacteria have specific times when they reproduce and repair, and this primarily happens during your overnight fasting period. When you eat late, several problems occur. First, your reduced evening enzyme production means food sits partially digested, fermenting in ways that promote harmful bacteria growth. Second, late eating disrupts the natural overnight fasting period your gut bacteria need for maintenance and repair. This is especially problematic after 60 because your natural melatonin production is already compromised. Late eating further delays melatonin release, affecting both sleep quality and gut health. Your gastric emptying is naturally slower, meaning food takes longer to move through your system, potentially causing reflux and disrupted sleep. Research from Cell Metabolism shows that late eating reduces beneficial bacteria populations by 30% and increases inflammatory markers. Studies on night shift workers reveal similar gut microbiome damage, demonstrating how eating against your circadian rhythm disrupts bacterial balance. The optimal solution: make your last substantial meal by 6 p.m. This gives your system time to process food before your digestive function naturally slows. If you absolutely must eat after 7 p.m., limit yourself to easily digestible options like bone broth or chamomile tea. After 8 p.m., stick to herbal teas only. No food, no milk, no honey. This creates a proper 12 to 14-hour fasting window that allows your gut bacteria to complete their essential repair and reproduction cycles. Mistake number 2 is weekend warrior gut health, maintaining perfect gut healthy eating Monday through Friday, then completely abandoning your routine on weekends. I see this pattern constantly. You're disciplined all week, eating your probiotics, spacing your fiber, timing everything perfectly. Then Friday evening hits and you think, I've been so good, I deserve a break. You spend the weekend eating whatever you want, whenever you want, telling yourself you'll get back on track Monday. This approach is devastating for people over 60. Your gut bacteria need a stable, consistent environment to thrive. Unlike younger people who can bounce back quickly from dietary disruptions, your mature microbiome requires steady, predictable conditions. When you completely abandon your gut health routine for 48 hours, you're not just pausing progress, you're actively damaging the bacterial communities you've been working to build. Beneficial bacteria begin dying off within 24 to 48 hours without proper nutrition, while harmful bacteria multiply rapidly when fed processed foods and sugar. Research from Nature Microbiology demonstrates that just 48 hours of dietary disruption can reduce beneficial bacteria populations for weeks. The study found that seniors require significantly longer recovery periods compared to younger adults, sometimes taking up to a month, to restore previous bacterial levels. The recovery challenge is compounded by your naturally slower metabolism and reduced bacterial diversity that comes with aging. Every weekend disruption sets you back further than it would have in your younger years. Here's a sustainable fix. Adopt the 80-20 rule. Make good choices 80% of the time, but build in flexibility for the remaining 20%. Plan your weekend indulgences within a gut-healthy framework. If you want pizza, have it with a side salad and take your probiotics as usual. Never completely abandon your routine. Even on relaxed days, maintain basic timing principles like stopping eating by 8 p.m. and taking your daily probiotics. And now the number 1 most dangerous mistake, the gut health marathon mentality. This is when you try to fix your gut health in just a few days by implementing every gut healthy strategy simultaneously. Picture this scenario. You've been struggling with digestive issues for months. You read about gut health and decide to go all in. You start taking multiple probiotics, eating every fermented food you can find, loading up on prebiotic vegetables, drinking bone broth, taking digestive enzymes, and completely overhauling your diet overnight. This marathon approach is the fastest way to destroy your gut health progress, especially after 60. Your digestive system is already operating with reduced capacity, fewer enzymes, less stomach acid, slower motility. When you suddenly overwhelm it with every gut healing protocol simultaneously, you create a perfect storm of digestive chaos. Here's what actually happens. Your compromised digestive system can't process the sudden influx of new foods and supplements. Undigested matter accumulates, creating inflammation throughout your digestive tract. The bacterial overload triggers immune responses that can lead to new food sensitivities. Many people develop reactions to foods they previously tolerated well. The psychological damage is equally destructive. When you don't see immediate results, or worse, when you feel terrible, you conclude that gut health protocols don't work for you. You abandon the entire approach, often ending up with worse digestive health than when you started. Let me share Robert's story. At 67, Robert was dealing with chronic bloating and fatigue. He read about gut health and decided to try everything at once. Within a week, he was experiencing severe digestive distress, new food sensitivities, and crushing fatigue. He gave up completely, convinced that gut health was just another health fad. 6 months later, Robert discovered the gradual approach. He started with just one change, taking a single probiotic with breakfast. Week 2, he added fiber-rich vegetables to one meal daily. Week 3, he incorporated fermented foods. By week 4, he was following proper timing protocols. The result: steady, sustainable improvement that led to the best digestive health he'd experienced in years. Scientific research consistently shows that gradual implementation has 3 times higher success rates than intensive approaches. Your gut microbiome needs time to adapt and stabilize with each change. Let's quickly recap these 7 critical frequency mistakes and their solutions. Mistake 7: probiotic overdosing. The fix: single daily dose with breakfast, allowing recovery days. Mistake 6: fiber feast or famine cycles. The fix: even distribution of 8 to 12 grams per meal throughout the day. Mistake 5: fermented food flooding. The fix: one fermented food per meal, maximum rotating varieties. Mistake 4: prebiotic bombing. The fix: maximum 5 grams prebiotic fiber per meal with 4-hour spacing. Mistake 3: late night gut disruption. The fix: last substantial meal by 6 p.m., creating a proper fasting window. Mistake 2: weekend warrior approach. The fix: consistent flexibility using the 80-20 rule. Mistake 1: marathon mentality. The fix: gradual implementation, 1 change per week. Here's your optimal gut health schedule specifically designed for people over 60 morning. Take your single probiotic supplement with breakfast. Include 8 grams of fiber from sources like oatmeal or berries. Throughout the day, distribute fiber evenly across meals, never exceeding 15 grams per sitting. Afternoon. This is peak time for prebiotic foods when your digestive enzymes are strongest. Evening. Focus on easily digestible options, stopping all food intake by 6 p.m. when possible. Consistency. Follow this schedule 6 days per week, allowing 1 flexible day for social situations. Your expected timeline. Week 1 to 2 will be an adjustment period as your system adapts. Week 3 to 4, you should notice initial improvements in energy and digestive comfort. By week 6 to 8, you'll experience significant positive changes in bloating regularity and overall vitality. Month 3 and beyond, you'll have a stable, healthy gut microbiome that supports your energy, immunity, and overall health. Remember, this is a marathon, not a sprint. Patience and consistency yield permanent results. I want to hear from you in the comments. Which of these 7 mistakes were you making most often? Were you surprised by any of these timing issues? And what's the first change you're going to implement? Your engagement helps me understand what challenges you're facing, so I can create more targeted content for your specific needs. If this video helped you understand why your gut health efforts haven't been working, please share it with someone over 60 who's struggling with digestive issues. This information could save them years of frustration and help them avoid the common mistakes that keep people stuck in cycles of poor gut health. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell because next week I'm releasing a follow-up video that dives even deeper into this topic. I'll be sharing the exact gut healing meal timing schedule that's been tested specifically on people over 60, complete with sample menus and portion guidelines. Here's a preview of what's coming. I'll reveal the 3 gut-supporting foods that actually become toxic when eaten at the wrong time. You won't believe which supposedly healthy combination is actually destroying beneficial bacteria in your gut. Until next time, remember that your gut health journey is personal and gradual. These timing adjustments work, but always listen to your body and make changes at a pace that feels sustainable for you.